By the authority conferred on me as Vice-Chancellor, I constitute this a congregation of the University of Cape Town.
Please remain standing for the national anthem. Please remain standing for the dedication. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to invite Tarin Nodir, a member of the Students' Representative Council, to read the university dedication.
At this time of celebration, we, the members of the University of Cape Town, reaffirm our mission to nurture rational and creative thought and free inquiry, to strive for excellence in teaching and research, to educate for life, and to address the challenges of our society. We undertake to advance these ideals in a spirit of freedom and responsibility, and through consultation and debate. We celebrate our founders, benefactors, and predecessors, those who have built the fabric and nourished the values of UCT. To those of you who will graduate today, we wish courage, wisdom, and purpose. To those who will leave the university to learn and work elsewhere, may you be sustained by those values which unite us here today and advance them in the world beyond. A love of truth and learning, and of this, our university.
Please be seated. The UCT choir, ladies and gentlemen, please do not go away so that I can introduce you properly. Thank you. Let us start with the processional hymn and the national anthem. That again was led by the UCT choir, accompanied at the organ by Warren Patentia. The UCT choir soloists performed Weeping, composed by Dan Heyman and arranged by Luke Holder. A member of the choir, Jay Salmon, is graduating today, and 8 other choir members will graduate in the other ceremonies during the week. It's just perhaps fair to mention that the choir is a fully student-run ensemble at UCT and welcomes students from every faculty and discipline. Thank you. Vice Chancellor, the Social Responsiveness Award recognizes active developmental roles in our cultural, economic, political, scientific, and social environment. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you for a Social Responsiveness Award for 2012, Mohammed Adikari. Mohammed Adikari is the author of Against the Current, a biography of Harold Cressy, 1889 to 1916. The most striking feature of Mohammed Adikari's social responsiveness initiative is his commitment to using his scholarship to sustain a grassroots project that benefited a school community in a wide variety of ways. For a period of over 2 decades, Mohammed Adikari, an alumnus of Harold Cressy High School, put his considerable talents as an historian at the service of his alma mater in the execution of heritage projects relating to that institution. Most recently, drawing on decades of research, he produced an edifying and attractively illustrated popular biography of Harold Cressy, the inspirational early 20th century educationist after whom the school is named. Mohammed Adikari has published extensively on colored identity, including a book on the Teachers League of South Africa, of which Harold Cressy was the principal founder. Because Cressy is central to these scholarly concerns, he features prominently in Adikari's academic writing. Adikari has also for many years taught on the subject of colored identity and politics. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present for a Social Responsiveness Award for 2012, Mohammed Adikari. Vice Chancellor, the university's Distinguished Teachers Award, given only once in an individual, to an individual, recognizes teaching at any or all levels by a member of the faculty who has made a significant and lasting impression on students. It acknowledges the primary place of teaching and learning in the work of the university and marks sustained excellence in teaching. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you, both in absentia, for the award of Distinguished Teachers Award for 2012 John Anthony Higgins, and Jeremy Wanderer, whose citations appear in the program.
By virtue of the authority conferred on me, I have the honor to confer the degrees and admit to the degrees and confer diplomas on the candidates who are recorded as being in absentia. I'll now admit to the degrees the candidates to be presented to me.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you for the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Aisha Abrams. Kelly Abrams. With distinction in English language and literature and the degree with distinction, Katerina Teresa Aldera. Kayleen Ann Ammon. Wesley Anderson. Tamsin Lee Andrews. With distinction in history and the degree with distinction, Alexandra Sarah Applebaum. Alyssa Shanti Aronsa. Samantha Brooke Aronson. Adam Ayash. Lindsay Balfour. Sarah Page Banner. Kendall Olivia Barrett. Laura Ann Beale. Wada Beckles. Elroy Martin Bell. Notolo Edna Bengu. Stephanie Michelle Beezer. Marianne Jareen Blankenberg. Nicholas Guy Bodenstein. James Richard Bone. Becky Bonani. Terry Lee Bunzaya. Audrey Ann Borman. Karen Enslin Bost. With distinction in course of communication, Rachel Botsis. Jamie Lee Branders. Candace Tercia Brinkhose. Frida Brown. With distinction in film and television studies, Nina Brown. Stephanie Ann Burtonshaw. Megan Claire Bybee. Lyndall Mary Kane. Laurie Claire Cape. Josh John Carew. Greta Carr. Alex Robert Catton. With distinction in French language and literature and history, and the degree with distinction, Raphael Lazar Chaskelson. Tandiwe Kiara Chefa. Tendaishi Chitima. Monique Ann Klassen. Michael Sinclair Collicott. Tatum Condon. Suzanne Danielle Kruger. Chido Vanessa Dandajena. David Jeffrey Davies. Kirsten Jessica Davies. Catherine Anthea de Klerk. With distinction in English language and literature, Gabrielle Pascal Demblon. Kyle Fitzgerald de Villiers. Reneva Carla Doman. Rachel Gillian Doyle. With distinction in film and television studies and English language and literature and the degree with distinction, Thomas Frederick Dreyer. Sarah Shana Duncan. Gia Erica Duplessis. Zimasa Zingwa. Lee Enfield. Udendal Esterhazer. Fatula Faturis. Fiona Laura Alexandra Ferson. Simone Cherie Franks. Cherise Jade Fredericks. With distinction in philosophy, Rebecca Elizabeth Freund. Karen Gadri Gabriels. Kelly Garcia. Colleen Edzai Gorko. Laura Golden. Roseanne Lynn Gorvin. With distinction in English language and literature, Adam Nathan Gray. Siobhan Julaire Janice Griffiths. Roberto Grove. Daniela May Goodstadt. Dela Bouchle Gwala. Jennifer Mary Hanbury. Jessica Ann Handley. Lucienne Yoram Haupt. Pasqua Siobhan Hurd. Ulfa Hendricks. With distinction in drama and music and the degree with distinction, Ronnie Herbst. With distinction in closer communication and English language and literature and the degree with distinction, Judith Hibben. Danielle Hitchcock. Andrew Mark Hodge. Bruce Frederick Holt. Megan Angelica Holt. Simon Brian Hislop. Alexander Raymond Ings. Tasneem Jakut. Susanna Maria Jansa van Vuren. Herschel Christo January. Chantal Tamara Jennings. Taryn Lee Joffe. Stephanie Simone Jordan. Pumlani Bulalani Bandili Kango. Khadija Karjenka. Nadira Kathadra. Kim Taryn Kay. Michelle Lee Kent. Amy Bell Kless. Claire Elizabeth Knutzer. Megan Zara Korber. Amber Creel. With distinction in English language and literature and French language and literature and the degree with distinction, Anique Sarah Kruger. Kerry Lee Langschmidt. Joanna Valentine Leclezio. Timothy and David Lester. With distinction in English language and literature and psychology and the degree with distinction, Jessica Lindsay Leviton. Ian Alexander Stewart Linsell. With distinction in Spanish, Tanya Little. Romedy Lokich. Philippa Ashley Lodge. Dale Alexandra Lombard. Shante Ventel Losper. Edward Tietze Love. Tracy Lee Lusty. Thomas Litwinchuk. Phumuzili Kudzai Mabasha. Rohan Mahaman. Amani Kensani Manganyi. Jessica Kate Lobban Mann. Philip Rutland Manners. Mohammed Manuel. With distinction in gender studies and the degree with distinction, Charlotte Georgia Maria. Cleopatra Anna Markopoulos. Rushka Musut. Itumuleng Matlari. Philippa Lauren McCann. Olivia Jane McCarthy. Jonathan Ian McKinney. Catherine Ann McIntosh. Catherine Ann McLean. Kirsten Michelle McLennan. Geraldine McMeekin. Samkelo Mgobozi. With distinction in English language and literature and law, and the degree with distinction, Lauren Michelle Midgley. Joanne Claire Mills. Silindili Romancia Mgwengwe. Diane Elizabeth Moelim. Safia Modak. Kelesitsi Mohatli. Michael Jeffy Moss. Tandeka Crystal Ann Mujati. Daniel Muhumuza Musheha. Chitalu Hilda Mwanakatwe. Simon Neft. Elelwani Nechefiri. Katie Wangeki Ngari. Sibongo Kushle Awanda Ngobo. Amanda Chuma Ngombela. Edna Cynthia Rutendo Ngwenya. Luando Ntia. Gabriel Thomas Nugent.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Diana Atieno Okola. With distinction in Arabic, Shakila Omar. Graham Capel Palmer. Tara Nadine Pandey. With distinction in English language and literature and the degree with distinction, Ruby Parker. With distinction in film and television studies, Thomas William Parker. With distinction in Spanish, Ana Zita Pascal Saratoza. Amy Annette Pasirbeck. Raisa Patha. Kaylin Angela Peterson. Todd Colin Peterson. Gugu Amha Bandle. Simon James Phillips. With distinction in psychology and English language and literature, Sorrel Claire Pitcher. With distinction in linguistics, Cindy Jean Powery. With distinction in English language and literature and history, and the degree with distinction, Neroli Nombuyo Morgan Price. Pearl Machutenga Geta Babongile Poswari. Juliet Lauren Ranson. Jennifer Faith Robenheimer. Kian Sarah Reinders. Tamara Michelle Roberts. Alexander van Sale Roos. Jay Salmon. Lakita Kathy Sharnick. Bianca Lee Schmitz. Matthew Sam Schreier. Amy Catherine Scott. Mufaru Sengwe. Edward Sherrington. Masivuye Sitole. Kelsey Slingers. Lene Schmidt. Marufa Smith. Zwelihle Zamanzuza Sokela. Lita Buhle Zukile Sokutu. With distinction in history, Liesel Sonnenberg. Neil Stradom. Alexander Anthony Rhodes Tegan. Anka Solumi Taron. Nikita Simone Thomas. Robin Ruth Thomas. Carrie Lee Timlin. Catherine Lindsay Timone. Tina Pearl Lucia Clady. Zoe Lee Townsend. Amelia Claire Trigg. Anna Katharina Truter. Teague Turner. Sarah May Utton. Amani Lenny Valihu. Isabella Karen van Breda. Bryce Kendall van der Laar. Jamie Rees van der Rit. Melissa van der Scholz. Ibtisam van der Skeef. Yusri van der Skeef. Werner Karl van Rooyen. Nicolas van Sale. Pumzile Tandeka Vela. Inga Vika. Olivia Kirsten Wainwright. Kate Lauren Walker. Stephen John Walker. Lindwell Radney Worley. With distinction in English language and literature and visual and art history, and the degree of distinction, Tara Weber. Heidi Jennifer Wells. Kirsten Jane Whitehead. Sean Peter Whitehead. Lucy Marie Villeman. Elizabeth Catherine Wendell. Zen Yi Yang. With distinction in film and television studies, Nokuzola Larato Zingitwa. In film and media production, Jody Abel. Leila Adam. Megan Adams. Kate McQueen Arends. Iman Ali. Fakira Aisha Ali. With distinction in studies in film and media production and film and television studies, and the degree with distinction, Francesca Rose Annenberg. Daniela Andrea Barnes. Carla Joy Bernardo. Shani Mallory Bodil. Chantel Clark. Alexandra Catherine Clutie. Inika Kutsia. Michelle de Almeida. Lorna Ray Daniel. Etienne Jean Daniels. Luke Buchanan de Kock. With distinction in studies in film and media production, Elene Demetrio. Alexandra Catherine Dunsford White. Benita Duplessis. With distinction in studies in film and media production and English language and literature, and the degree with distinction, Amy Roseanne Diamond. Abigail Elaine Edwards. Loretta Catherine Epnow. Haley Jane Hurst. Muhammad Shuaib Jacobs. Iman Sigrid Latif. Jessica Helen Lua. Kelvin Lang. Vuyiswa Dembelihle Lupowana. With distinction in studies in film and media production and film and television studies, and a degree with distinction, Nicole Dominique Malherbe. Lola Amukelani Mashabani. Zinewo Matole. Kirsten Ann McLennan Smith. Marley Mayer. Anzra Danita Naidu. Panankosi Niati. Tolowana Oshodi. With distinction in studies in film and media production and film and television studies, and the degree with distinction, David Asher Platt. With distinction in studies in film and media production and film and television studies, and the degree with distinction, Kelly Samantha Powell. Larissa Hugo Isabella Mariana Pringers. Tambakazi Trudy Rosani. With distinction in studies in film and media production and film and television studies, Leila Raycliffe. Alexander Forrest Searle. Diane Christine Chantel Selman. With distinction in film and television studies, studies in film and media production and Hebrew, and the degree with distinction, Daniela Scher. Nicole Shrosbury. Kaylin Dorothy Simmons. Shanae Mary Simpson. Romy Lara Stoch. Olivia Tablanche. With distinction in studies in film and media production, Johannes Ferdinand van Sale. Catherine Verhoeven. Lauren Maria Fuchs. Tanya Jean Wagner. Colt David Wentworth Brown. Carmen Daniela Vessels. Megan Wallace White. Nicole Wilcox. Amy Zeiman. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts Honours in African Languages and Literature, Elvis Vuyisile Diosi. Ayanda Lloyd Halalele. In archaeology, Lisa Swart. In art historical studies, Michaela Francesca Kaplan. In classical studies, first class, Gregory David Martin Bridgman. In development studies, Angala Siachiwena. In diversity studies, Rianne Sujiwa Cornelia Elizabeth Lan. In English studies, Daniela de Camara. First class, Chantel Catherine Dorfey. Tara Juliet Corinna Leviton. Naima Mas'ud. Sandaya Matuara. Olivia Jean Morel. First class, Annika Hileki Breitenbach. First class and the recipient of the De Villiers Smuts Scholarship, Leo Jonathan Swartz. Anton Howard Taylor. First class, Xavier Ira van der Sant. In Environmental and Geographical Studies, Victoria Elizabeth Kitley. Reiki Martin. In Film Studies, Gabriela Pereira Achadina. First class, Orly Barnett. First class and the recipient of the De Villiers Smuts Scholarship, Christina Grauel. First class and the recipient of the De Villiers Smuts Scholarship, Kaylee Joyce Mitchell. Fikile Isimelo Mtwalo. Luke Slade. In French Language and Literature, Mia Everson. In Film Studies, Michelle Lindsay Madden. In French Language and Literature, Yara Katsuki Lamela Silva. First class, Amy Ruth Warren. In Heritage and Public Culture, Clement Mweso. In Historical Studies, Luke Farrell. Amy Augustine Jenner. Pancras Malani. Kylie Ray O'Brien. Andrew John Harry Lindsay Snelling. First class, Jessica Stillerman. First class and the recipient of the De Villiers Smuts Scholarship, Sarah Jane Walton. In International Relations, Nirali Gajar. Emmeline Genevieve Maria Luke. Nokotulo Moyo. Pretty Mbaiwa. Kamal Rouhani. In Justice and Transformation, Claire Ann Louise Lester. In Latin Language and Literature, First Class, Camilla Rose Christie. In Linguistics, First Class, and the recipient of the de Villiers Smuts Scholarship, Simon Martin Abbott. First Class, Muad Kamal Khatib. Beatrice Jean-Marie Miller. In Media Theory and Practice, Kim Barlow. Liesel Geldenes. First Class, Mila Rose Henneck. Paul Timothy Herman. First Class, Kim Alexa Johnson. Reinhard Kreiner. Molokhadi Wilhelmina Makwela. Lungile Moyo. First Class, Chisanga Mukuka. First Class, Brian Michael Miller. Uvania Naidu. First Class, Natasha Nell. Kirsten Vanessa Smith. Gareth David Stevens. Sarah Annika Struben. First Class, Stephanie Nicole Fenter. In Philosophy, Politics and Economics, Maxine Boone. In political communication, Helen Elizabeth Blaine. Sisanda Bukeka Nsimeli. Colin Wardle. In politics, Rustam Fortune. In religious studies, Mohammed Reza Ismail. Karen Ann van Wyk. In Spanish, first class and the recipient of the de Villiers Smuts Scholarship, Aaron Kumsty. In television drama, Andrea Roberta Bennett. Michael Anthony Charles. Mohammed Shadley Desai. First class, Michal Joseph Malek. Frances Caroline Stevens. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts Honours teaching French as a foreign language, Masamba Roli Ngalima Atipo. In television drama, Eden Angie Taron. For the degree of Bachelor of Social Science Honours in Industrial Sociology, Roxanne Jade Graney.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you for the degree of Master of Arts in Clinical Psychology, Farouz Begum Gabi. Maura Lepperman. With distinction in the dissertation, Colleen Grace Sturrock. In creative writing, Kaylee Joy Bright. Alison Jill Budge. With distinction, Richard St. John Higgs. In language and literature and modernity with distinction, Liz Maria Gassa. Nicola Claire Lazenby. With distinction in the dissertation, Brittany Renice Nivens. Ivy Musekiwa. In linguistics, with distinction in the dissertation, Frida Kutsia. In media studies, Samantha Nicole Griffiths. With distinction, Silke Hasreiter. Bernadine Laura Jones. In media theory and practice, Dylan John Culhane. Mark Day. Daniel David Herman. With distinction in the dissertation, Mareka Annette Kramper. Chilombo Mbenga. With distinction, Maria Anya Fenta. In organizational psychology, Pumla Hako. In political communication, Perrine Vignette Lucas. In political science with distinction, Rorisang Nikiwe Lekalaki. For the degree of Master of Philosophy in African Studies, with distinction in the dissertation, Hani Iran Res. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Afrikaans, for a thesis which focuses on re-evaluating the oeuvre of the Jewish Afrikaans poet Olga Kirsch, in terms of her identity, motherhood, and exile, by applying the psychoanalytical theories of Sigmund Freud, Jacques Lacan, and Julia Kristeva. William Frank Thomas Minar. in English Language and Literature for a thesis offering an interdisciplinary textual analysis of the contracts and court and other legal documents used to negotiate and fix the terms of the statutory land restitution process in District 6, Cape Town, from 1996 to 2012. Robert Peter MacDonald. In linguistics, for a thesis which focuses on the accents and language attitudes of young middle-class black South Africans in a deracializing society, Kirsten Lee Moreira.
It's a long and warm afternoon, but I'm sure you'll agree with me that it's worth every minute to see these wonderful graduates, these wonderful students achieve what they've achieved in life. I want you to give them one more round of applause. And I'm sure, graduates, that you would recognize that you would not have got to where you have got today if it hadn't have been for the support, moral, financial, emotional, of your loved ones, your parents and partners and spouses and sometimes children. And I want you to take your scrolls, stand up and make eye contact with your supporters in the audience and wave your scrolls to them and express your appreciation to them. And I'm sure you also recognize that without the faculty members on the stage, you would not have got to where you have. And I invite you also to show your appreciation to the faculty members. And I do that too. The university would not be the great institution that it is without the brains trust that we have in the faculty, people who do outstanding research and people who are great teachers and dedicate themselves to assisting and supporting and guiding the students of the university. I thank them too. As you graduate today, some of you, many of you for the first time, if you're getting your first degree, you join a special community, a community of convocation of the university. And the convocation has an important role. You are members of convocation for life. You can't escape, you can't resign, and you don't have to pay anything to be a member of convocation. You just are because you're an alum of UCT. But it's an important body because it preserves the traditions of UCT. It preserves the continuity. It ensures that standards remain high. It provides the bridge between the past and the future. And it does so in a number of ways, one of which is that you get to elect members of the council of the university, the governing body. You also get to elect the chancellor of the university. You get to support an alumni advisory board, which meets with the executive of the university at regular intervals and gives us feedback on how we're doing or how our alumni think we're doing. And in many other ways, through regular communication, we hope to hear from you and to get your support and your advice. It can only work, though, if you keep in touch with us and if we know how to get hold of you, how to send you our regular newsletters, our alumni annual reports, and the electoral ballots. So I do urge you, please, always to keep the alumni office informed as you move around from job to job, as you move around the world, that you remain and maintain those contacts with the university. And as you go out into the world as ambassadors of UCT, you are our most important preserver of our reputation. And that reputation and your reputations will stand or fall not by the quality of the degree, as good as it is, not by the technical competence that you demonstrate in the workplace, much of which you will acquire in your future jobs, your careers, but by the values that you espouse and that you live, values that we hope are aligned with the values of the University of Cape Town. The most important aspect of our reputation is that ethos of commitment to social justice, commitment to fairness and integrity, and we hope that as you live your lives and your careers, you will always embody those values and make us proud of you as graduates of the university. We invite you to celebrate this afternoon and this evening and congratulate you all once again for this huge achievement.